Good morning, welcome. We are continuing our journey with the Sutras. Book 2. You don't need to read along. This is a short sutra, and it ties into everything that we've been talking about up until now. So book 2 is teaching us how to do yoga, right? It's the part on the practice. What are the things we need to do to cultivate yoga-ness? And this sutra says, it's Sutra 2.8, it says, aversion is that which follows identification with painful experiences. Which is probably not news to any of us. Saying when we don't like something, we avoid it. Or we have feelings. It's actually not saying that. It's saying we have these feelings of aversion. What we do with that is kind of what the practice offers us, is that we actually have a choice. And aversion shows up lots of ways. Some ways it's maybe helpful, keeps us healthy. So, rotting meat smells bad. That brings up aversion for me. And it's also good because it means I'm probably not going to eat it. Flan also does that for me. Like, I have a thing with flan. It gives me a gag reflex. It's probably not going to hurt me, but I have an aversion to it, and I have an actual physical response to it. If you haven't ever heard that story about Patty Casanova, we should have coffee sometime, and I'll tell you what happened when I had to eat flan at a third grade sleepover. So there's actually, sometimes there's a physical response. And most of the time, if we're paying attention, which is what this practice teaches us, we'll notice that there's a physical response to the things that we have an aversion to. And that's a message. And it's like, okay, you're not comfortable with this. You're not simpatico with what's going on. So part of our practice is learning to really have enough awareness to sense those things and then decide if we need to run away. I don't need to run away from flan, but I probably don't need to eat meat that's spoiled. Sometimes it's relationships. So I am a peacemaker. I avoid conflict. I don't like conflict. And my response to that situation that I dislike is flight. So there's fight sometimes, there's flight. I'm not having this conversation kind of person. And sometimes that's a smart choice, like the situation is charged and it's like, okay, this is not the time. And other times, I probably should stay and have the conversation. I probably should hold the person accountable. I probably should set a boundary. There's lots of situations that I don't like, that there is probably something worthwhile for me to engage in. So what we're learning in our practice is how to distinguish I'm feeling aversion, and then how to make a good choice. So to use discernment to say, oh, okay, I'm feeling this, and now what? So we're going to work today a little bit with recognizing the feelings. Okay, so I'm going to invite us to just bring up some things and feel what we feel, just so we start to get some practice at oh, my chest tightens, my jaw clenches, my heart races. I'm going to ask you to feel. And the tools of meditation also give us grounding practices that can help us feel safe if things get elevated. So if any of this practice today brings up a sensation of this is too much, I want to get up and walk out of the room, like that strong of a feeling, then just go back to your breath and ground into your anchor. So if your breath is your anchor, that's a good place. If you have a mantra or counting or something like that, you can shift your attention. Okay, you ready? All right, let's begin with posture. So I can see you guys situating yourselves wherever you are. Go ahead and create your seat so that you can be relatively upright and supported. A sense of physical support. If it is all right for you to close your eyes, go ahead and close or lower your gaze. Start with stability. So start with just sensing into your feet and your seat and your hands. When you breathe in, get a sense of alertness. When you breathe out, get a sense of softness, relaxing. So cultivating a state of alert relaxation. Start by thinking of something pleasant. My go-to is my dog. A being or a place that just gives you a sense of ease and joy. Your body in response, whether there's a softness or a warmth, something that you're experiencing when you think of something pleasant. Bring to mind the smell of rotting fish. Notice there might be an immediate physical reaction. Aversion, reaction. Not in any danger. Give yourself permission to shift your attention and come back to ease. bring to mind something that scares you a little bit. I have a fear of birds. Yours might be snakes or dogs or something in the shower when the shower curtain's closed. Just something that quickens you a little bit into heightened alert. Notice the physical response to even just thinking about the thing. It's a tension or a tightening. Use your breath or your other tools of the practice to just come back to neutral. Conjure somebody, a person, who creates a sense of anxiety or maybe even fear for you. Might be a coworker or who knows, a family member, somebody that puts you on edge. Feel what you feel. Yourself to stay with the feeling a little bit here. So sense any physical protection that might be showing up. Notice if there's a kind of a bubbling up anger or retreat. Get curious about what's here. Use the tools of your practice to come back to stability. body scan, seeking out any tension that might be present that you were not aware of. Your hands, your jaw, your belly. A situation in your life that's charged. There might be some kind of conflict or uncomfortable situation that you're facing. Might be just something temporary or something that's been going on for a while. Something that you may be avoiding out of aversion. I don't want to deal with this. Maybe it's your taxes. That friend that you had an issue with and never quite resolved it. Start with sensing into the physical reaction to just even thinking about it. Give yourself permission to consider what would happen if you didn't avoid it, if you addressed it. Use the tools of your practice to stay grounded as you get curious. of suffering might you experience if you took action instead of avoiding? Would the suffering be temporary? Might the outcome actually be better? Than the weight of avoiding. Imagine yourself on the other side of the situation where it's been addressed and there's a sense of completion or relief. Fuller breath. Do that one more time. Nice big full clearing. And when you're ready, come on back to the present. Insights, comments, questions?
I have an insight. Normally I meditate with my hands sort of like that, one hand laying in, and I do. So I started off like that. And then when you got to a point where you were talking about things that made us, I don't know, anxious or problems, I realized that my hands had gone to this. It was like, whoops. I'm like, okay, come on.
Yeah. I had a teacher once who taught me that when you're doing this, thumbs touching lightly, and then just notice, like, are my thumbs pressing into each other or are they separated? Right? Just enough mindful attention to maintain that softness in your hands. Because our body tells the story. If we're paying attention, we'll notice it and we'll be like, oh, look, I'm going to that place where everything's clamping down. Maybe I need to take a few breaths.
And on another note, when you mentioned the whole dog thing, as we're sort of both dog people and cat people, if you have not listened to it, on Jimmy Buffett's last album, which was published after he died, there is a lovely song about why don't you love me like my dog does. It makes me happy every time I listen to it. So I suggest you go look at that and listen to it, and then it will be your favorite song.
Thank you. I will. Anybody else? All right, well, I hope you don't have to eat any flan today or whatever your version of that is. But if you do, it's probably not going to kill you and it's temporary.
I'm
And you
with
might
you on
like
the
it.
flan thing. Yeah, it's just, And I had it sat in front of me. I had a student whose family owned a restaurant, and we were eating there one night. And so he was so proud to bring me this flan that he had made. And I'm like, oh God, it looks like somebody threw up on the plate. It's just disgusting. And my husband was nice enough to eat it for me so that it looked like I had tried it, but it was just like, oh, there's something about it.
Yeah. And I've actually tasted it in adulthood, and it wasn't as bad as I remembered. I still didn't like it, but I didn't have a gag reflex. All right, y'all. I'm glad you came. I'll see you soon.
Happy
Namaste.
Sunday.